right, should we start? Okay. Hey everyone, welcome to our Mentor Spotlight series where we get to meet the incredible people behind the Nepal US Hackathon 2026 and what actually drives them to be part of this community. That being said, super duper excited because we have one of our mentors on board today, Mr. Pratik Bhandari. Uh, I'm sorry, my slide went off. Okay, I'll just do the last part again.
Yeah.
That said, that being said, super duper excited today because we have one of our mentors on board today, Mr. Pratik Bhandari, software development engineer at Amazon, joining us today. First of all, thank you so much, Pratik Dai, for taking out the time to come and give me this 30 minutes.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you for this invitation.
Amazing. So let's just get straight into it. Could you please briefly introduce yourself and what is it that you exactly do?
Yeah. Like you said, my name is Pratik Bhandari. I'm a software development engineer at Amazon. I joined Amazon recently, about 6 months ago. So I'm fairly new to the company. At Amazon, I work in the Whole Foods Market org. So I work in the grocery space, specifically in the Whole Foods Market department. Within that, I'm in the supplier item tech side. So basically, what I do is when we have suppliers that want to sell their items to Whole Foods, we have in the backend systems that basically have mappings of which supplier can sell which item at which location. And Whole Foods is a pretty big store. It's been around for more than 30 years. Amazon bought Whole Foods around like 2017. And since then, more recent in the last couple of years, Amazon has been going pretty big in grocery. So there's a lot of suppliers currently onboarded to Whole Foods, and we have stores all over the US and in Europe as well. So the complexities that come up with dealing when it's questions about, which suppliers can sell which items at which price, and all the different changes that happen day to day at which locations, it's a very complex problem space, and we're kind of expanding more on that. There's more stores being opened. There's different domains of grocery that Amazon is looking at, and I deal on the supplier side. So it's been a great experience at Amazon. Lots of learnings. Still pretty new to the company, but yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. So your portion is not just the tech side or the technical side, but you're overlooking everything at this point.
No, I'm still in the tech side, but since it's in the supplier domain, we deal a lot on the business aspects as well.
Yeah.
So we deal a lot with directly talking to suppliers or internal team members who then talk to suppliers. And we have these conversations about, how they want to onboard to the Whole Foods Market ecosystem, what tools they use to submit their costs when they're submitting their catalogs, right? And so there's a lot of conversations that we have with the
Mhm.
business side, and that drives the tech side of how we want to build the systems on the back end.
Yeah, two coins on the same side, two sides of the same,
Yeah,
right? Yeah,
yeah, it's a really interesting problem space.
yeah. And I was just talking about this, and this really brings into perspective that no matter what field you are into, you need to have that communication aspect of you.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And that is basically the gist of what we're trying to do with this hackathon, not just building a tech or building a solution within 48 hours, but actually networking and knowing who is who and how does the Nepali diaspora actually work, right? So we're perfectly, amazingly happy that you joined us. Again, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
That being said, what made you say yes to being part of the Nepal US Hackathon 2026?
Yeah, so I'll be honest, I didn't know about the Nepali Leaders Network. I didn't know about the hackathon as well. This is the second hackathon that you're doing. And Ocean reached out to me on LinkedIn with this invitation to mentor. And he mentioned that Ojas, who is a friend of mine from back in Nepal, he kind of just referred me as a potential mentor, and that's how I got to learn about the hackathon and then about Nepali Leaders Network. Uh, and it really seemed like a great opportunity to be a part of. First of all, be a part of the Nepali Leaders Network and be a part of this really amazing group of people from all different fields, not just tech, but different fields, and be a part of the community. like you said, network, get to learn from domains just outside of my expertise as well. But at the same time, also have an opportunity to mentor this hackathon and not just like help the the participants, but also learn from them as well at the same time. There's so many interesting things that people are doing now, more now than ever with AI being just so easy to build stuff.
Yes.
So this seemed like a great opportunity, kind of again to help people out, but also at the same time learn from them.
Yeah, that's just amazing part of it, like you have you're in chapter 10 of your life, and me, a freshman, where I am at chapter 1, me looking at your life feels that, oh, you have it all figured out. But you have that humility to say, oh, I still have room for improvement.
Oh
You
yeah, not at all. Yeah, I don't have it figured out, and we don't. Yeah, yeah, we don't, in the sense that there's always so much to learn, right? There's always so many new perspectives, and it's it's groups like these and communities like these where you can expand on that.
yeah, and also to be able to have that sense that, yes, I need to give back to the community is, I
Yeah.
think, up as well. So thank you again for that. And when you say Ojas, do you mean Ojas Shrestha?
Oh, the semester, yeah.
Okay, so fun fact, he's the next person I'm interviewing in like next 30 minutes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and as about mentioned, it's this is also a great opportunity to reconnect with a lot of friends, because I knew just from back in Nepal, but I
Hmm.
really hadn't kind of had a chance to we hadn't had a chance to talk after since moving to the US.
Yeah.
And I was going through the list of mentors for this hackathon, and there's like three or four people, other people that I know as well.
Oh, that's
Uh, and yeah, it's also a great chance to reconnect with them. So yeah.
reconnect, and yeah, that's amazing. Also, like, you started your journey in Nepal, right? And now
Mhm.
you work at one of the world's largest tech companies. Like, what mindset helped you to navigate through all of that?
Uh, I would say it's the biggest thing is just the desire to learn and grow. Uh, I was, I guess, lucky to be able to study even like back in Nepal in a college where there's a large group of really talented and smart individuals. And from them, from a very early point, it's just when you're around people like that, you you have this learning of, okay, I want to keep learning. I want to, you know, grow into this person and into this career where I have these opportunities. And that's I guess that's how it started. And then as you keep pushing on, and then you come to the US, and then you see, okay, you see all the other people, even from Nepal, your seniors, people from your family, maybe your friend circle, working at these big companies, doing really amazing things. And then you can ask the same question, like, why can't I do that, right? And it's not really that difficult. You just have to have the desire to keep learning, and just be curious. And, it's really not that difficult.
That just reminds me of the phrase, being youngest at the table, no matter where you are.
Yeah.
You just have a group of people that you always look up to, and then you're always like, I'm going to learn something, I want to learn something. That's something I
Yeah.
want to incorporate too. And your journey, by the way, is just amazing.
Yeah, it's easy to, sometimes I think uh, we're victim to we all of us are victim to that at certain points in time. It's easy to just fall back and just be comfortable with whatever
Mhm.
you're doing, because time just goes on, and life just goes on. But as long as you have that desire to just keep moving forward, yeah, we'll get wherever our aim is,
Yeah.
whatever that might be.
The sky's your limit and you reach for the mountains, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so on that note, you said like how people tend to get comfortable in a space once they reach a certain age or a certain post, let's say. So, why do you think this hackathon is especially important, not just for students or tech enthusiasts, but even professionals who are actually working right now?
uh, I think it is a good opportunity for everyone to get maybe kind of like an exposure on what is out there in terms of I guess technologies and opportunities and ideas,
Yeah,
because not just from a tech perspective, but I guess tech is at this point a big part of every like
every Like,
career space, like might not have to be in software engineering, right? It can be health, it can be other parts like civil engineering, maybe nursing, maybe like medical, obviously. uh, and the pace at which tech is evolving, with especially AI, like the recent example is forcing everyone in every domain to adapt to it, and to have to learn to it. I have so many friends and family who are not necessarily in tech, but they are curious about AI, and they kind of at this point have to be curious about AI because it's redefining the way they work. And I think hackathons like this are really a good opportunity to s- to kind of play around with that, and then uh, also see what ideas people are coming up with. When
mhm,
you're working at a company for a lot of years, and maybe and even if you're new, you most of the time you're working at a very specific problem space, a very niche part
yeah,
of the job, right?
mhm.
uh, and it's very easy to get lost in that, and kind of taking a step back, zooming out, and then maybe looking at other people's ideas, other projects, especially young people who, the sky's the limit, right? You can do anything.
Yeah.
uh, that gives us, even mentors, a great look into what's possible, and it can be opportunities for us to then maybe say, hey, this is actually something I might want to work on, and I'm going to give that a shot, right? So yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. We were having the same conversation last time because, like you said, someone's XYZ may translate into, oh, that's a very good idea, and I want to work on it. I mean,
Mhm.
every idea in this hackathon is not going to be turned into a multi-billionaire project, obviously,
Oh yeah, yeah.
but the idea pool and the perspectives from people is going to be so differentiated and so many varieties that someone is definitely going to make something out of it. And
Yeah, I guess the end goal is also not to necessarily build a multi-million dollar company out of it, right? The end goal might be to just one, obviously, like network. So someone from one team and the other person from the team might end up, kind of linking up and then starting something of their own. Who knows, right? That's how companies start. That's how startups start. uh, and then some of these ideas sticking, some of these ideas kind of combining into a bigger idea and then growing into something else. Yeah, there's so many possibilities.
there's so many possibilities. And again, it's all happening because people like you are willing to give back to the community. So again, I'm going to repeat this over and over throughout the interview. But yeah, thank you so much. Now, dwelling on that, what's one piece of advice you'd give the participants to actually get the most out of this hackathon? I think we've already touched on this so far on the conversation, but
Mhm.
a small thought.
Yeah, I think uh, the biggest thing I'd say is just be curious. It's a hackathon, it's a competition. There are first place and second place, and there are prizes of obviously. So have that sense of competition and try to win. That's obviously that's a given, right? I don't have to say that, but I guess the biggest thing is just be curious and be open to learning, and try to have that sense of, if have an idea and I can build something, how can I take it from point A of an idea and into an end result of a possible product? And what can I learn in the process? And just being curious, and not just from your own project. Looks like there's a lot of participants. So I don't know how many total teams are going to be there, but it's probably going to be huge.
Oh,
So
70 plus participants already.
yeah, so that's an amazing number of people from all around the world,
Yeah.
bringing diverse perspectives, and their own set of ideas. So I think this is like a boiling pot of ideas, and the best thing you can do is just learn from it. And I think that's the advice that I'd give them.
Yes, exactly. And there's nothing to lose, right? Like
Yeah,
no one cares. You just come here and then you give a weekend of your time and then
yeah.
definitely you get the best out of it. Otherwise, you just went ahead and gave your shot.
There's only positives out of this, really.
Perfect. Love the energy. So you said, have you been like part of other hackathons before? And yeah,
Yeah. Sorry. Go on.
no, 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 please. You have?
No, I have not. So this is my first hackathon as well, mentoring, and so it will be a new experience for me as well, in terms of being on the other side of this, and seeing how I can mentor and how I can contribute teams. So yeah, this is part of why I'm also super excited for this. Is I'm new to this as at the same time.
Yeah, yeah. So, how do you expect participants to approach your mentor sessions? You know, you being one of the mentor, and again, we have a time limit, we have a time constraint. So and you have so many different things that you know, but there's only so many questions a team can ask in one session. So, how would
Mm.
you suggest them to prioritize that time so that they can squeeze out the maximum benefits out of it?
Yeah, I haven't thought about this, but I'd say uh, before before you start,
Yeah.
I think there are like three different time slots,
Hmm.
right? And I think at the before the beginning of the session, having a set of questions that you want to start with, and it doesn't have to be, at least for me, it doesn't have to be like tech related on how to solve a specific, maybe a specific technical issue, right? It could be non-technical as well, in terms of like maybe you're preparing a slide deck and what points do you want to include in that slide deck, uh, what you want the end uh, product to look like, maybe. So tech, non-tech doesn't matter, but having a set of questions to start with, I think would be a good way to begin, and then we can kind of diverge off of that. And then see all the things that we can kind of tackle. But yeah, I don't think I have any specific guidelines in how we can go with that.
Yeah, but basically have a roadmap, right? You cannot
Yeah,
expect yours to do everything for you. You need to have your own set of ideas.
yeah. If we, I guess if because we only have like 1 hour, all right, and if we go into the call and then start brainstorming, we might just end up, each of us having different conversations and kind of being all over the place. So yeah, like I said, having a roadmap, having a set of things to work on and go off of would be probably be much better.
Yes, exactly. And we talked about, AI and how tech is embedded in everything in life and everyone is getting used to it. So I'm definitely sure like 95% of the participants are going to use AI to come up with the solutions, right?
Mhm.
So how would you suggest them to approach this in a way that they don't use it just as a tool, but actually something that adds value to their final project because you only have so many repetitive answers from it, right?
Yeah, I don't know if my answer is going to be the same as everybody else's here, but I would say use AI in every step of the process, starting from ideas, uh, brainstorming your ideas. Definitely use it when you're actually building the product, uh, and then also use it when you're building your, slide deck or presentation or whatever at the end. Don't use it. Definitely use it for things that it can do much faster than you. For example, coding, right?
Yes.
Uh, Use it for coding. Like, don't write a single line of code, is what I would say. Understand what it's producing at the end. Like, verify it. Go through the code, but don't write it on your own, because you don't. In a sense, you don't have to. And I guess it's a difficult pill to swallow at this point in time, but it's just the reality of how far uh, AI has come, in terms of you don't really need to write any code on your own. So, and that would also save your time, because this is a hackathon. At the end of the day, there is a specific time limit, and you need to finish everything. So definitely use it in places where you'll save time, and don't use it where uh, your uniqueness can be masked by AI's, like you said, repetitiveness, right? Uh, your initial set of ideas should be yours and should be unique. You can use AI to kind of polish that, definitely, to expand on that. Uh, but it should still be your idea.
Yes.
Uh, you know, use it to come up with, like, to get the presentation decks ready, to fix your grammar, for example. I use it all the time to write emails.
Yeah.
So, things like that. Definitely leverage that power that AI provides, that gives you.
Yeah. You're like the cool professor who's like, You want to use AI, use it, but you need to have the correct idea. Like you said, don't write
Yeah.
a line of code.
Once, we're using it at work anyways, right? We're not writing code by hand right now. So, there's no point in giving the instructions of you need to know a specific programming language, you need to know how everything works. You really don't at this point.
Yeah, just the product and the value of what you've written and
Yeah.
the essence of what you started, right?
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
keep your idea. And
Yeah. It's really the idea and what problem it solves and how it solves it is really the main thing. And that what differentiates everything else.
yeah, and on that, like you work on systems at Amazon that operate at massive scale, right? So, how can team build projects and like solutions that could actually realistically, scale in the real world?
Uh, I think in terms of a hackathon, scaling something to the real world would something that would come secondary, because at the very end when you're building your MVP, you don't need to worry about serving millions of customers or millions of users right now, right? It should work, it should solve the problem that you're trying to solve. It should basically, if you have a set of checklists that you're trying to do, it should do all of those, and it should do them without any errors and issues. But then while you're building the product, you should have scalability in mind and you should develop your product with scalability in mind, but not necessarily have to solve it in the get-go, is what I would say.
Yeah, and I think this is one of the problems that most participants really struggle with, or focusing on that. Oh, how's this going to work? How's that going to work? And they often disregard the minute steps that actually
Yeah.
get there and the whole gist of hackathon, right? So,
Yeah.
what would you say to them? Like a common mistake participants would make that they can easily avoid by taking a couple of steps.
Yeah. I think, like I said before, I'd probably reiterate that would be, uh, when you're building, when you're working on your idea, having a set of must-haves in what your product or your whatever you're building should have, the problem it solves, making sure that that works end to end at least, and then dividing those into now a good to haves, right? Okay, I have this feature XYZ and it should do this. If that breaks, then the whole product doesn't make sense. And then there's a bunch of other things, maybe tweaks in the UI, that are good to have, but you can still add them later on. That doesn't really define the idea itself. Having those and then focusing those at the very end, if you have some extra time left, uh, would probably be the best way to move forward, because it would suck to spend a lot of time on a very small part of the product that doesn't really matter,
Mm.
overall, and
Yeah.
then not really have enough time to actually work on the actual project and still doesn't work end to end.
Yeah, because you have that hyperfixation at something, right?
Yeah,
And
and we
then,
all have that, right? And I'm fault of doing that too, but it's sometimes, and I guess that's the good thing of working in a team as well, as you have different people working the same different things, but as but everybody being aware of, okay, we're working on the important things right now.
yeah, so your teammates can actually pull you out of it. So
Yeah,
this
yeah,
is a team project and not just I project,
yeah,
right?
definitely.
Definitely. Okay. Thank you so much. I just looked at the time and we have 4 minutes left. I didn't
Yeah,
even realize it went by so fast. You're an amazing speaker. Thank you so much for all your insights. And I'm 100% sure the 100 feet perspective that you bring to the table and the mentorship that you'll give will be so very valuable to the participants and all the contestants. We are all very much looking forward to that. After this, I'm going to see Ojastai and I'm going to talk
yeah,
about it actually.
yeah.
So, one last question before we end. What do you say to people who still feel, after everything that we've spoken about, everything you've said, still feel not ready to join the hackathon?
uh you really will never be ready, uh to be honest. It's just about starting, putting one foot out the door, and then once you do one step, then everything will just kind of fall into place.
Quality.
So yeah, so don't worry about being ready. Nobody's really ready. I wasn't ready to join Amazon. I wasn't ready to come to the US. Like, nobody's really ready to do anything. So yeah, just start and you'll get there.
Yeah, the first step is always the hardest, but the most important one, right? Zero to
Yeah.
one, and it goes to 100.
Yep.
Right, perfect.
Exactly.
Thank you so much. So, any lasting thoughts on Nepali Leaders Network or anything you're excited about?
No, I just wanted to thank you again for having me for this invitation. I'm really excited for the whole event, and I'm also to be part of the Nepali Leaders Network. This really is an exciting opportunity.
Yeah, thank you so much. The pleasure is all ours. And again, thank you so much for taking out the time after your whole day. And hopefully, I'm actually glad that it's 7 p.m. and not 8 because, we're both in Texas.
Yeah.
So, yeah, have an amazing night for the rest of the night.
Thank you
And
so much.
amazing talking to you. I hope I didn't burn up your ears or grill you.
No, no, not at all.
It was very nice talking to you. I'll see you from March 27 to 29. And if I ever see you in Austin somewhere, I'll be like, hi, Pratik, bye.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Thank you so much. Have a good
Thank you. You too. Thanks.
Thank you.